your job.
Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And we're the Newly Deads. Thank you for joining us. This is a half-hour chat show where we discuss a movie that we've watched. This is also a podcast, so if you are listening to this is a visual show. We do have some things that kind of pop up periodically. Mr. Newly Dead over here does edit some things, so it's all visual, but we also want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. So if you can't watch it, you can also listen to us on Spotify or whatever your podcasting choice is. We do record this in our house, so we do have some dogs and some dog noises and some crazy feet flying up in the air right now because Shaggy is rolling all over the floor.
Just like that Aerosmith song about feet flying up in the air.
Exactly. But this is a half-hour chat show where we watched a movie and now we're going to discuss that movie. Shaggy's getting dangerously close to the camera. So, and there he goes.
There he goes.
All right. We do have some criteria for the show. Yep. And so I'm going to go through that right now. The criteria for the show is that it needs to be under $5. It needs to be a thriller, horror, or sci-fi genre movie. And it needs to be a movie that we've never seen before.
Shocker. We've seen all the movies, I thought.
We've seen a lot.
We haven't
seen them all.
Not seen them all.
Surprisingly.
Working on it.
Yes. And if you are enjoying this show, we also do other content. So we've got a YouTube channel where you can find all of our other kinds of content. We do Follow Me Around, unboxings. We do caffeinated reviews, which is like a coffee thing. We have something called Sinister Snacks, where we talk about weird snacks that we find sometimes in the wild. Sometimes they're gifted to us. Sometimes we order them on, different services.
All over the place.
And then we also have a lot of information on our website where we write blogs. Mr. Newly Dead does movie reviews on there as well. Not just Dollar Store Drive-In type movies. So he reviews lots of different horror. Usually it's mainly horror movies.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that he reviews. We also are artists. So we do different art events. We are going to have one coming up in December at Wolf Hollow this time. That is our drug of choice whenever we're going to do some vending. Thankfully to the Wolf Hollow people. So thank you to Liz and Randy for that. But it's going to be Shopping with Serial Killers is, I think, the name of the event.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll have already put it up here, and I'll put it up again too.
And they use the term serial killer kind of loosely. It could be a slasher. It could be, I think they've got like Jason walking around. Probably Art the Clown might show up.
We're good friends with Art. He might be there.
Yep. Our local Art, I should say. So you can find all of that information at our website, which is thenewlydeads.com for all of your Newly Deads needs. So that being said, we watched a movie called The Night Visitor. I'm pretty sure Mr. Newly Dead found this at the dollar store.
Yes, right? We did.
Night Visitor. Better than the day visitor. So I'm going to read the synopsis and then we'll kind of get into the trailer, and then Mr. Newly Dead always has some notes. So we're going to talk a little bit about this movie. This show does have some spoilers. So if this is a movie you are just chomping at the bit to see, we always recommend that if you want to, you can go ahead and watch it. I think you can probably find it on Tubi.
I think so, yeah. The movie's 11 years old. If you haven't seen it by now, what are you waiting on?
Right. It looks like there's a sequel to it as well. So,
we do have the sequel, so eventually we're going to get to the sequel.
The squeakquel.
Buckle up, kids. Sequel's coming.
It's coming. Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis. You ready for this?
I hope so. Bailey lets me get away with it.
The Night Visitor centers around a suburban couple who hires a new age spiritualist to help with their troubled marriage. Her advice: to video their lives 24/7 to help reunite the family turns out to reveal their son is having conversations with an unseen entity calling itself the Night Visitor. The end. Bailey's trying to get him to pet him while he's doing his
He's desperately in need
actions.
of affection, apparently, even though I've been here all day working from home.
Yeah.
He needs love right now. So
The tagline to this is "Beware of those who come at night." Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, you could do that anytime, really, but I made a joke that's inappropriate for PG-rated audiences.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about. Right there. I see you looking at us.
Anyways, so
trailer.
Yeah, let's watch the trailer. I'm going to let you choose what trailer you want.
Oh.
I don't have any. I don't usually. If I have like a strong pull towards something in a movie, then I'll tell him what kind of trailer he's going to be popping up. He likes to put like little trailers that go by because it's funny. He's a jokey joker. But yeah, so go ahead and pull that trailer up, give it a little honk honk. All right, and then we'll be right back. So then you can watch what we're watching.
Yeah,
we'll be right back.
Hi.
Record everything. No! 24/7.
Lights, camera, action.
I told you, he's been acting really strange lately.
If you don't sleep at night, what do you do?
Talk to my best friend.
Bedroom.
I love you more than a million chocolate chip cookies.
She's having some of the same problems that he's having.
What problem? How do you know about our kid?
You know, it's okay. Is he sick? I mean, you can tell me this. It's my son.
He's not sick, but he did have another nosebleed.
I know what I saw. I'm not seeing things.
Is he here right now?
Uh-huh.
This is not normal, all right?
We're back. Hopefully you enjoyed that flatulent trailer.
You think there was some farts in that?
There's probably some flatulence and some farts.
we are a very farty show.
Yeah, he does like the toots.
If you don't like the farts, this may not be the show for you.
The musical fruit.
The more you eat, the more I put them in the trailer.
Yes.
So, as she mentioned earlier, I take notes during the course of the show. And then at the end of the year, Mrs. Newly Dead compiles them into a little flippy book that you can check out on the newlydeads.com. Goodness, I can't talk.
The Newly Deads.
The Newly Deads. And hopefully some of hers will be included this year. I don't know. We've talked about it. But as long as she's kept them
we'll see.
somewhere. I log all mine away. These hard copies get destroyed. But anyway, so I always draw pictures as well. Not always, but most of the time. So this time I drew.
Oh, pumpkin shake.
Like a you have your little sippy cups that have all the
and then the ghost.
creatures, and then a ghost. Because the movie is about some sort of entity. It's never really clear whether it's like a demon or something. So I just I like drawing ghosts. Like my wife likes drawing ghosts, so I drew a ghost. So The Night Visitor is from 2013, currently sitting at 3.9 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. Really? We'll see how that goes. So this was directed by Jennifer Blanc Bean. Yes, that Bean, as in Michael Bean. They are related to each other. I honestly don't know how, though. I think it must be a daughter because Michael Bean makes an appearance in the film. Spoiler alert. And Jennifer Blanc Bean is also in the film briefly, although I don't remember who she was or why she was there. So anyway, she has done a whole lot of acting, but she also directed something called The Girl. And that's it. Along with her acting. She's primarily an actress. So this was written by 3 different folks, Bradley Marcus, Kevin Marcus, and Lonnie Ruman. And they've co-wrote a lot of these movies. So the first movies that I'm going to read off here were all co-written by all 3 of them. So The Night Visitor 2, Heather's Story, which is the sequel that is on this disc here. The Girl, which I mentioned previously. And something called Hidden in the Woods. So now Lonnie Ruman also wrote another film all by themselves called Cabaret of the Dead.
Sounds like a fun show.
Right? We probably would watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So this stars Brienne Davis, who has done a couple things that you might actually know. Something's Wrong in Kansas, which you probably don't know that one, unless you've been to Kansas, and then you know Something is Wrong in Kansas. Prom Night, the remake from, I think it was, I want to say like, I don't remember what year it was. I was going to say 2018, but I think that's too late. And she was in Chrome Skull, Laid to Rest 2, which Laid to Rest, the first movie, should have become a franchise. And Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210 is in one of them. I forget if he's in the first one or the second one. I think he's in the second one. I think the first one is another former like TV star. But the killer in it wears like a chrome plated skull mask, is dressed like super nice, drives a really fancy car, and like the whole catch with the movies is, number one, is they're really violent, like more so like Art the Clown level of violence. But the killer has like a mounted camera on their shoulder. This was made back like when, you know, little cameras were a thing before they had like pinhole cameras and all that. And like their car has cameras, and like they videotape everything.
Like a GoPro kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah. And so like the whole thing is that they're videotaping all, so you get like these POV shots of them murdering people, and then you get the regular like camera shots, and then they like put them in coffins, and it's a whole thing. It's like this whole like big elaborate thing. But the first 2 movies were actually pretty good. They kind of remind me of the Collector franchise, which I know you've seen the Collector.
I
movies.
did. I saw that in the theater.
And the third one is coming of that. But Chrome Skull never made a third one, which is kind of sad because I actually thought they were pretty good. This also stars Garney Cairns, or Cairns, Cairns, Cairns? Or Gary Cairns. Wow. I really need to.
Gary?
Gary, you know, that's the alternate pronunciation of Gary. You know, there's Gary and then there's Gary, depending on where you're from.
Yes. Tomato.
Who's from a movie called Operation Blood Hunt, which at some point will probably end up on the show. Hollow Point, which sounds like something I would probably watch. And Purgatory Road, which I'm not 100% sure I haven't seen. And then finally, I mentioned Michael Biehn is in this film. It's a very small part, and I'm hoping that he comes back in the sequel as a bigger role. But in the first one, he's just a little like, he doesn't even say anything. He's just like a little clip at the end, basically, that ties together the whole movie. Anyway, you may know him from Planet Terror, which is the Robert Rodriguez Grindhouse film. Bereavement, which is part 2 of the Malevolence series, which was done by Stephen Mina, which is a friend of mine. Got all of his movies over there. They're all autographed. Good stuff. If you've never seen the Malevolent series, you should watch them. They're all good. Sushi Girl, which is also on the shelf, which is a kind of a grindhousey type thing with Mark Hamill and a bunch of mobsters. It's weird, but it's worth watching. Aliens, of course. Everybody knows him from Aliens. And the original Terminator, which he's done a lot of big franchises and stuff. So Michael Biehn is kind of a well-known name. That's why I had to throw him in there.
Mr. Bean.
Yes, even though he's only in it for like 10 seconds, and it's just a little bit where he does this. And that's it. All right. So at this point, my wife turns to me and says,
What'd you think?
and this is where I say, Bailey, would you please lay down, buddy? You're making this hard.
Shaggy was making me sleepy.
Oh,
He just kept putting his little head on me.
no, that's why he went to go lay over there. He realized he was knocking you out. So first of all, this is found footage. We didn't quite understand what was going on with the audio in the film because there's like a weird echo kind of thing happening. So whoever did their sound apparently didn't like make any sort of adjustments for the fact that maybe the room was a little too live or that they had some sort of multiple mics happening, and so one was picking up the other, and it kind of created this kind of echo chamber.
Yeah.
It was really annoying. The sound was also just kind of wonky in general. There's the teddy bear in the movie that's called Frank,
Mm-hmm.
and like at the very beginning, Frank's on the ceiling, and so you're like, okay, it's kind of a
Creepy.
like a ghosty
Poltergeist.
thing. Yeah, like a poltergeist kind of thing. And then as it goes on, you're kind of not sure if like it's an alien thing or if it's a ghost thing or if it's a demon thing. It's kind of vague. But the one thing we do know about this movie is that the dad is a douche.
Mega douche.
He is not really the best guy. They're trying to make things better, as she read on the thing there. But
Yeah, you cheated on her.
yeah, and she's agreed to try and make it work. So they get this woman to come in who is like a therapist, but her therapy is to have them videotape everything in order to make some sort of like discovery about their relationship. And they're talking like everything, if you know what I mean. And I think
Yeah.
you do.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Exactly. And I wrote in here that it was like Groundhog Day meets the Blair Witch Project. And I think the reason I said that is because like some stuff happens and all of a sudden it kind of resets almost.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think it only happens once.
Mm-hmm. Weird.
And it doesn't really make sense why they don't really explain it.
They keep getting possessed or taken over by this entity. And then only when they're in that one spot, it seemed like when they were in the hallway thing. And then like all of a sudden it would just go and then like suck into them or whatever. And then they would do the bidding of whatever the entity wanted. And a lot of it was like sexual in nature or whatever, like on the dad, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's weird because whenever it would happen, their eyes would kind of get bluish, kind of
Yes.
lighted up. So they looked kind of like they were an alien.
That's why we thought maybe it was like an alien kind of thing, like coming through the screen. When you hear entity, sometimes you think of, like Close Encounters, kind of creepy alien stuff.
It very well could be. I mean, maybe in part 2, all will be revealed or not.
Yeah.
Then I wrote, actually, this couple is kind of douchey. And so that's the thing. Then there was a character in this that they kept referring to. His name was, I believe, Corcoran. But with the way they were saying his name, it sounded like his name was Cochrane. Not Cochrane, Cochrane. Like
Cochrane.
That's what it sounded like. And I wrote it down because I was like, what's his name?
That's funny.
And I kept listening. And every time they said it, I'm like, no, I don't think he ever made an appearance. I don't think he actually showed up.
Maybe he was Michael Biehn.
Oh, maybe Michael Biehn is Cochrane. They kind of rhyme. So there's a point where the little boy is scared to sleep because obviously something is in his computer or his room or his bear or whatever. Because the bear is like a nanny cam. And so again, it's all about technology and kind of
recording like their like constant life, so it's like he's got a camcorder, then he does have like a GoPro or like a pinhole, like pin kind of thing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
At one point. And then, you're starting to see shots then now through the teddy bear.
And I feel like these parents aren't the best parents because the kid is like, I don't know, like
7.
Yeah, somewhere between 5 and 7 maybe.
Yeah.
And he's scared to go to sleep, which I would be too if my bear was floating on the ceiling and I didn't throw it up there into the ceiling fan. And so their solution to the boy not wanting to sleep is they just decide to stay up all night, which I don't think that's the best solution.
Right.
I'm a parent and I have 2 grown kids now, but when they were little, if they were scared to sleep, I'd stay with them until they fell asleep and then I'd hightail it out of there, or, you'd sleep on the floor or whatever, but you don't keep them up all night. That kind of is counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Along with the glowy eyes, occasionally they got nosebleeds. And a friend of mine once told me that the sign of a good movie is if they say the name of the movie in the dialogue, like if the title of the movie is in the dialogue. And at some point they talk about The Night Visitor. And I was like, and you were like, they said it.
You said sign of a good movie?
No, well,
you said
good.
You said good movie.
Good movie.
He means bad.
Good movie.
Yeah. You don't say the name of the movie in the movie.
No, not typically. Now, I mean, obviously there's exceptions to that, but especially in these other movies, or these types of movies, it's not always the best thing. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Like if you're watching Spider-Man and they're like, hey, it's Spider-Man,
Yeah. You're like,
it's his name, to be expected. And then I wrote, are they aliens? I'm so confused, and we're still confused about it.
you're so in
obviously.
the weeds.
So I'm so in the weeds about the Night Visitor. Now we told you that there were going to be spoilers, and so we kind of have to talk about the ending before Michael Biehn shows up and goes.
Mm-hmm.
So the friend of theirs that's like helping to watch their kid tries to seduce the guy. She's clearly been possessed by whatever the thing is.
Yep.
This whole like thing goes on, arguments, etc. And eventually the kid is in his room and the door slams shut and they can't get in. When they finally get in, they realize that the kid is trapped inside the laptop, kind of like R. Kelly in a closet. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, we still don't know exactly what happened. And I don't know why you're so fidgety. Everybody's trapped in the laptop.
Yeah.
And so the end of the movie is them going, oh, where are we? Let's find out. And it kind of sounds ethereal, like they're in some sort of nether.
Right.
And that's kind of where they ended. And then all of a sudden cut to Michael Biehn and he's looking at some sort of like computer screen or something. Like you can tell he's looking at something. And he does that face, the
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the end. And I'm like
what happened? Why was this movie?
right. And then so the main girl's name, the mother of the kid that's married to the douche, et cetera, her name's Heather. And so the sequel is called,
Yeah, it's called The Night Visitor 2, Heather's Story.
so as much as I you can probably already tell that we didn't love this movie. I'm curious enough to know what they mean by Heather's story, and that I'm wondering, because I mean, you got her story in the course of this film, so it's not like we didn't find out about what happened to her. Now, if like the therapist's name was Heather, okay, then fine. Maybe she's run into this thing before and she's attached to it somehow, but it's not. It's the mom's name.
There's more information in the second thing that kind of clarifies some of the stuff you were just talking about.
Oh, well, we haven't rolled the dice to watch that yet, so we'll have to wait, and you'll have to wait unless you want to do your own research. I think these movies are streaming, both of them. I think. Well, I know the first one is streaming on TV, but I'm not sure about the second one.
Booby.
I'll have to put them up here as far as where they're streaming, and then if you want to watch them before we get to that, which could be a while because everything is randomized on this show, but we will get to it and we will discuss it at some point. So.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 or negative billion to
Negative.
5,
Wow, that's a broad spectrum.
nanny cams,
Oh, good call.
what would you give it?
So when I first did the review of this on Letterboxd, I had started to put something else, and then the more I thought about the movie, and the more I kind of started to write out my thoughts on it, which are usually very short, but I realized that I didn't like this movie at all. Like I was trying to give it a little bit of credit for the fact that they did the found footage thing, and it kind of worked a little.
He's definitely in found footage stuff.
Yeah, and so I was being a little forgiving, and then I'm like, no, the characters aren't likable. The story wasn't anything to write home about. Michael Biehn didn't even save it.
Yep.
So I ended up giving it a 1 just for effort. But yeah.
I feel like this movie is unremarkable. It is forgettable. And I barely remember it because we watched it last week.
Yep.
And usually I watch it like the night before or whatever, but I watched it last week and I was like, did we watch this? Did I fall asleep during it? And I don't think I did.
Nope.
I think I stayed up during it. I remember,
we were talking about it a lot during the course of it. So that's probably why.
Yeah.
We were very engaged.
Yes.
About the movie.
The movie. So I'm going to say 0.
I think the reason I originally kind of had also given a little more is because we kept singing the Nightman song from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Night
Visitor. Oh.
And that kind of tinted my opinion a little bit.
Because it was fun.
Yeah. Tainted my opinion. Thank you, Cockring. Because it was fun singing that song. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to blow it up because we've got another movie to watch on here.
We do.
So I'm just going to gently set it down here. And then what is our movie for next week?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, wait. If they don't want to watch this movie, what do you recommend?
So I tried not to say this several times because I had it in my notes even, and I realized that I probably shouldn't say it because it's my recommendation. And if it's not obvious by now, I was seeing if you were going to guess it.
Wreck?
No. I was going to go with Oren Pirelli's Paranormal Activity,
Oh, all right.
the first one.
Yeah.
I
I do like Paranormal Activity.
because in the first film, it's very low budget. There's not a lot going on. It's found footage, but it's done so much better. And that thing started a whole franchise, which I'm a fan of the franchise. We watched the most recent one, Next of Kin, on our honeymoon
Mhm.
in a haunted area, hotel, etc. In Gettysburg where we were eating pizza. And so anyway, I'm a fan. I liked it. I think it's a better version of what they were, I think, trying to do here, but weren't quite as successful. So yeah, Paranormal
Yeah.
Activity.
Paranormal Activity. Okay, now what are we watching?
Now we get to next week. Now for this, we are watching the third one. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Third one down. We're back to the slasher collection.
Okay, this was from Anne.
Yeah,
Mhm.
from our friend Ann. And this is a fun collection because it's not recent movies. They're all
This one?
movies from the 60s and 70s. Yeah, the third one.
Silent Night, Bloody Night?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're getting ready for the season with what again?
Silent Night, Bloody Night.
From 1972. I wasn't even born yet.
You've never seen it?
No.
Hmm.
And it's not Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's what I was thinking.
It is Silent Night, Bloody
Bloody
Night,
Night.
which predates.
It's got
Silent
John
Night,
Carradine in it.
which we were just having a long conversation about my affection for John Carradine and his kith and kin, because he has a huge royal family of actors and grandkids as well. Sadly, he's passed away, but his
He does
kids
have
live
a
on.
whole passel of kids.
A whole passel of boys and a girl, and then they've got a daughter that's also an actress, and I think a couple other kids. I don't know. There's a lot of Carradines out there.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is a very short synopsis because it's in a
it's a large
fun
collection.
box of whatever.
A fun box of fun.
On the night before Christmas, grisly murders occur around a former insane asylum where a gruesome massacre took place
Oh.
35 years earlier. I tried to make it rhyme.
I thought it was
Earlier.
I thought it was gonna rhyme. I was so excited, and then
On
it
the
kind
night
of.
before Christmas, grisly murders occur around a former insane asylum where a gruesome massacre took place 35 years earlier. I can't get it to rhyme.
Close enough for jazz.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what we are watching next week as we gear up for the holiday season. Which now that Halloween is over, now that we're into November, we're getting
It is
inches
time.
closer to Thanksgiving,
And Christmas.
and Christmas will be coming up soon. And I don't know if we have enough Christmas movies to do a whole month of Christmas movies. I kind of doubt it. I'll have to look in the box, but
It'll be fun.
we'll have to discuss that.
Talk
later.
about our favorite bloody Christmas movies.
Yeah, maybe we'll do
Or
another
holiday. Just holiday. We've done that before, haven't we?
Well, we just did the Halloween episode.
Yeah, but haven't we done a Christmas one?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
We've only been doing this for a year and a half,
Mhm.
and this is our second year, so we've only been through the Christmas season once. So.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Anything else you want to add to the end of the show?
I'll do Michael Biehn impression one more time. I don't know if he actually makes that face. It's sort of like that.
It's pretty funny. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Again, you can find us at thenewlydads.com. Bailey wants to give me a high five.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Keep it cheap and creepy, and make a face like this.
and wave at Bailey. Bye.
Go look after your mother and sister. Where are you going?
We gotta finish this. Goodbye, Tom.
Oh, the whistling farts, they light up the night. Joe's got a talent, makes everything right. From dawn till dusk, he's our own Mozart. Blessed be the man with the whistling farts.